Morning, everyone. Morning, Debbie. Philippians chapter 3. Let's see what it says. Still on the thread of righteousness by grace, but the subtitle of Philippians 3 says the goal of life. So maybe we'll find out what the goal of life is today, in case we don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I got the Amplified, so I'll have words you may not, and we'll see what happens. Philippians 3:1. Finally, my fellow believers, continue to rejoice and delight in the Lord. To write the same things again is no trouble for me. It is a safeguard for you. All right, there's that repeating thing again. Yeah, here's Paul saying, I got to repeat stuff over and over because we as humans forget.
Yeah.
So, and it trips me out. There's times God goes, I need you to say this again. I'm like, I've said it like 10 weeks in a row. He says, no, just keep saying it because you need to remember it. I'm like, okay, yeah, I need to remember it, and so does everyone else. And it's fascinating. And here's Paul's doing the same thing. Verse 2. Look out for the dogs. Uh-oh. The Judaizers, the legalists is what he's talking about. Look out for the troublemakers. Uh-oh, again. Look out for the false circumcision. Those who claim circumcision is necessary for salvation. Now he's starting to lay some foundation here. Look out for the dogs. That's just a lovely word, isn't it? Isn't there somewhere else? Somebody else was called a dog in Scripture, wasn't it?
That's a Phoenician woman.
Yeah. Called a dog. And then, what did he call her after he called her a dog and she explained herself?
Well, she explained that even the dogs get the crumbs that fall from the table, and all of a sudden, she had this either great faith or correct answer, however you want to interpret it. She had an understanding of the Scripture, and bam, her daughter's healed. It's a happy ending.
Yep. But what did Jesus call her after that? What did he tell her?
Not fit to throw the dogs.
That's what he called, when he called her a dog. But then when she explained herself, I even get the scraps, and he said something else about her.
Did he call her daughter? I don't know.
No, he said, I think he said there's no such great faith around, or you're a woman of great faith, after he called her a dog.
He might have.
And that is fascinating. So even with when Jesus is saying, because Jesus pretty much said early on, especially early on in his ministry, I came for Israel. I didn't come for the Gentiles. And every time they tried to sneak the Gentiles in or someone other than an Israeli, he would go, and it's not their time. But then he started to change because Israel didn't want nothing to do with him.
Well, he didn't really change.
No, the prophecy was becoming fulfilled.
Right. He did, and he did the same thing that Paul did.
Yes.
Later,
Yes.
Paul went to the synagogue
Yeah.
first. Every place he went, either there was a synagogue or with Philippi.
Right.
There was the women out by the river because they didn't have enough for a synagogue.
Right.
Always went to the Jews first.
Right.
And things typically went the way that they had been going.
Yeah.
And so then he said, okay, I've done what I needed to.
Yep.
And now I'm going to take the gospel where the Lord wants to take it.
Yep. So it's fascinating. He's talking, so it says most time when Scripture's talking about dogs, it's Judaizers or legalists. In this sense, is what he's talking about. Look out for those that are trying to make you a good Jewish person and have to follow the laws. What he's saying, and look out for the legalists. That's why he put the legalists and the Judaizers together. He says, look out for those. Look out for the troublemakers. Huh. We've all came across a few of those in our lifetime, have we? Look out for them. Look out for the false circumcision. Those who claim circumcision is necessary for salvation. Which is kind of interesting, because that just, in a way, that almost brings me back to the Judaizers and the legalists, because they're like, good Jews got to be circumcised, so you got to be circumcised. But apparently, there was a mini split.
Oh, yeah.
There was the Baptists and the Anabaptists. A mini split. Different sects of the Wesleyan. There's a little mini split. We got to do everything that Jewish law requires, and then maybe the circumcision goes, well, sacrificing animals may not be such a good thing, so let's do everything, but let's just make sure we all get circumcised to be good. So there's probably a little split there. They didn't believe everything, like most churches get stuck on something somewhere. So,
And And I mean, if you look at Galatians, where he really just digs into it with,
Yep.
with the atomic backhoe.
Right.
You look at Galatians, and he's telling this little story. There's not a whole lot in the epistles once you leave Acts. There's not a whole lot of narrative.
Right.
But there is here, and he tells us about the thing that happened with James, of all people.
Yeah.
James, who's pretty high up in the